This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.
If you like listening to Red Eye On Demand, we have more of Eric Harley and guests for you. Download RER's Extra Mile podcast. More topics and issues discussed.
Eric and Gary excited to talk about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier and excited to talk about BOGO. You know what BOGO means. Buy one, get one. So you buy a Thunderstorm, you get one free. No matter how many you buy. You buy two, you get two free. Buy five, you get five free.
What makes the Thunderstorm great, Eric, is it completely eliminates any odor, even the worst odors like cooking odors, cigarette smoke, and pets. The O3 molecules seek out and destroy the odors, even behind your furniture. Nothing can hide from the Thunderstorm. Eden Pure's buy one, get one free sale is for a limited time only, so order now.
You know, I love reviews, and with thousands of five-star reviews, you know the Eden Pure Thunderstorm works. People are buying several for around their home, even as gifts. Just go to EdenPureDeals.com. Use the discount code REDEYEBOGO.
Five o'clock on the dot this Monday morning. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Money news. All ears and eyes will be on the stock markets today. Big sell-off in Japan overnight due to investors worried the U.S. economy may be in worse shape than had been expected. Market numbers coming up in 4 minutes. Hurricane Debbie expected to make landfall at Florida's Big Bend today. Here's Jim Ryan.
Homeowners on Florida's Gulf Coast spent the weekend preparing for Debbie, buying supplies and laying in sandbags. Tom Sudasan lives in Seminole County.
We have a low-lying bedroom, and when it gets heavy rain, it comes underneath the door.
On its present course, Debbie is expected to make landfall this morning in the area where Idalia struck last year, heavily damaging the island of Cedar Key.
Now, Debbie's winds right now topping out at 80 miles per hour. Election 2024, Vice President Kamala Harris to hold campaign events in 7 battleground states in 5 days with her new running mate. ABC News says she met yesterday with the top contenders at her home in D.C., including Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Allison Kosick says one of the men's social media posts over the weekend raised speculation as to who it will not be.
Arizona Senator Mark Kelly posted and then deleted this cryptic tweet Sunday saying, "My background is a bit different than most politicians. I spent my life serving in the Navy and at NASA, where the mission always comes first. Now my mission is serving Arizonans." The message leaving many wondering if Kelly is still a contender.
Right now in Nashville, Channel 4 talked to people who were on a ghost tour downtown when they say they heard gunshots.
Gunshots had rang out. I always like to tell people that this is a very safe part of town, but now to hear that it happened in front of the Hermitage Hotel, that's a little concerning.
Yeah, Metro Police say they arrested 2 teenagers, ages 17 and 15, for their alleged involvement in a drug-related shooting near the Hermitage Hotel last night. Market Numbers Report brought to you by Beacon Capital Management. Online at beaconcm.com. Here's Chuck Severson.
Trading will resume after a couple of days of sell-offs. The Dow and Nasdaq indexes dropped hundreds of points. It's a quiet week as far as number of reports due out that could affect stock prices. The one Tuesday on the trade deficit, and consumer credit on Wednesday, and Thursday the regular Labor Department stats on weekly initial claims for unemployment benefits. The latter was significantly higher last week, which preceded a monthly jobs report that was lower than expected. Rivals have accused NVIDIA of abusing its market dominance and selling chips that power artificial intelligence. And the U.S. Justice Department is now investigating these complaints, says the technology news site The Information. Unnamed sources familiar with the discussions are cited. The Justice Department is suing TikTok, accusing the company of violating children's online privacy law and running afoul of a settlement it had reached with another federal agency. TikTok denies the allegations.
All right, Dow futures are down 640 points. S&P down 142. NASDAQ futures down 819. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Information fueled.
Opinion driven. This is Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis.
And so, my fellow Americans,
we talk news.
5:06, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. Welcome on in, August 5th. Yeah, it's Monday. Yeah, the stock market is just teetering on the brink of disaster. But don't worry, Kamala Harris is on the job. We're all going to be safe. Our 401ks are going to be fine. Our jobs, no problem whatsoever. Kamala Harris is on the job.
Well, let's start with this. Prices have gone up. And families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more.
Right.
And we have to understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up.
I think what that means is we're screwed.
Yes. Tell us something we don't know.
See, again, you're looking at all of the things that are happening today. Israel is just right there on the brink of being attacked by Iran. Again, the economy just teetering on the brink. We've got all of these things going on across America and the world, and Kamala Harris is coming to the rescue, no doubt.
That's about having to stress and stretch limited resources. That's about a source of stress for families that is not only economic, but is on a daily level, something that is a heavy weight to carry. So it is something that we take very seriously.
You know what? I feel so much better now. I don't know about you, Johnny. I don't know about you, Ken. I don't know about you folks listening at home on this Monday, but problem solved. Kamala's on it.
Man, she made me feel relieved. Not.
I like how when the question is asked, she's got like 4 or 5 seconds of silence and stuttering. Well, the only thing missing there is, thank you for the question. I mean, that's the only thing that's missing there. So,
well, she'll get that next time.
I'm sure she will. Anyway, so there we are, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. Kamala, by the way, has she given an interview yet? Did she do any interviews over the weekend? No, I don't think she did. I know that the surrogates are out there. Kamala Harris's surrogates are out there, and they are, peddling the talking points of Kamala Harris.
Bring it on. Yeah.
That's what it is.
He won't debate me. Bring it on.
Yeah, it is interesting because Trump has set up a debate with Fox News, and she says, "No, I'm not going to do a debate on Fox News." Oh, no, can't do that.
Yeah,
we want to debate with George Stephanopoulos.
Yeah.
Did you see that interview between he and Byron Donalds? Oh, my Lord. They did 2 topics. They did January 6th, and will Trump release the prisoners, pardon the prisoners of January 6th.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about Kamala Harris's heritage or skin color, whatever.
Of course.
2 topics. Yeah. That's it. George Stephanopoulos, it's like a 10-minute interview.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to talk about the fact we may be in a recession.
You
can't talk about that.
No. Well, this is, and I think that the Democrats within the media, the news media, I think that they're finally getting to the point where they're going to start asking some questions. First of all, on State of the Union, over on CNN over the weekend, Dana Bash, believe it or not, asked a Biden surrogate about some of the controversial things from Kamala Harris in the past.
In the 2020 primary, the vice president praised the defund the police movement, and now she says she doesn't support defunding the police. She called for decriminalizing crossing the border illegally. Now she supports President Biden's policies for clamping down at the border. She supported Medicare for all at one point, eliminating private insurance, and her campaign says she doesn't support that now. She's reversed herself on a fracking ban. What do you think that voters should think when she's reversed herself on several issues just in the last 4 years?
Several issues? That was her entire policy when she was running for president back in 2019. And then basically her entire, it's like she's from she's completely changed. I'm telling you, what does a caterpillar turn into? Is that a butterfly? Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what? I was going for, thank God this is in the 5 o'clock hour. Because it's like, does a caterpillar turn into like a moth or what the hell does a caterpillar do?
Well, this one's turned into a spider.
That's exactly right.
A brown recluse.
I think that voters should think that she's a human being who learns new things every single day and has the ability to take the time and effort to hear the concerns of all people. I think that they should be certain that she is a fighter and a leader who's going to do the work on their behalf.
Does she ever, I don't think this surrogate, I don't even know who this is, but, this is Senator LaFonza Butler. And old LaFonza there basically doesn't answer the question. But here's the deal. Donald Trump has never wavered on supporting the police. Donald Trump has never wavered on his support for a strong border and legal immigration. Donald Trump has never wavered on his support for our sovereignty. And so old LaFonza Butler here, the senator out of California, Democrat, she says, Kamala's a human being. And, human beings change their minds. In 4 years, Kamala Harris has changed literally her entire platform. I mean, I don't know about you, but that screams liar to me. I mean, LaFonza, she's a human being, but it also seems like she's a liar and she has no backbone. That's what it seems like to me.
To ensure that there is an economy that ensures that no one is left behind, that there is a climate, that we're going to continue to address the climate crisis in a way that ensures that there is an earth here for young people and for next generations of leaders. I think that they should.
She's talking in circles. Like that's what she's doing.
She's not saying anything.
She's not. It's like words. It's like words that are just empty. Kind of like Kamala Harris trying to explain the economy.
Absolutely believe that she is a leader who cares about people and who's going to put them first, as she has done her entire career.
So no concern about flip-flopping?
No concern about.
No concern at all. That's just why she won't do any interviews. No concerns about flip-flopping whatsoever.
As she has done her entire career.
So no concern about flip-flopping?
No concern about flip-flopping. This is our country changes every single day. The conditions of our country changes every single day.
Yeah, our conditions in our country sure have changed, haven't they?
Wait till Wall Street opens this morning.
Dude, I am really worried about, you saw what happened with the Nikkei in Japan. I mean, I'm really worried about what we're going to see when the stock market opens up today.
Yep.
The futures were terrible. What did you say that the futures were? I mean, they're like down a lot.
Yeah, the NASDAQ is off by more than 4% right now. The Dow is off by 3%. S&P is off by 2%. And it hasn't even opened yet.
All right. Well, it's going to be a long day.
Yes,
we got the
maybe
stock.
not on Wall Street.
You missed my open, Ken, but I did. I mean, you've got Israel is just. I mean, it seems like any moment now they're going to be attacked by Iran. So you've got that, and of course, the CNN is leading, and we got the economy on the brink.
Yeah,
we've got CNN though. They're opening with who will be Kamala Harris's running mate. That's what CNN opened up with, and one of the things that I'm going to cover today is what Donald Trump said in Georgia. So that's number one. He had a big rally in Georgia. A lot of debate over, as we knew there would be, a lot of debate over whether or not we should be focusing on Kamala Harris's heritage. I'm really not going to touch this all that much today. I've already said my piece. There's so many other things that we should and will be talking about.
Yeah.
That her skin color and her birth certificate, which was a topic of conversation over the weekend, not even going to go there, man. There are so many important things going on right now, and traffic is one of them. It is 5:16. Time to check the roads on WTN. All right, thank you very much. 516, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. There was a lot going on. This Trump rally in Atlanta was amazing. There was a woman, and I don't have time to get in all the audio right now, but there was a woman there named Michaela Montgomery. She's a political activist. She is a conservative, incredible advocate for Donald Trump. Now, she takes to the stage. She absolutely stole the show. She is black, and she's going after Kamala Harris.
And I don't want to hear, but we capped the price of insulin and lowered the price of all these medicines. Yeah, but you raised the price of everything else, so it's about time to start telling the truth to Americans and let them know exactly what they're signing up for if they want to vote for Kamala Harris.
I mean, this woman, she went viral over the weekend. By the way, here's another story. Trump calls Harris a low IQ individual. Now, CNN, of course, all over it. Now, here's the deal. I don't know exactly what her IQ is. The things that she says doesn't exactly bring forth a lot of confidence in her IQ. Now, I don't care what her IQ is because here's the thing. There's a lot of people who are really smart, book smart, and so forth, that get the job done, that they may have a low IQ. But you know what? They know how to fix stuff. They know how to do things. I was talking to somebody over the weekend, and one of the things that they said, and this is somebody who I highly respect, one of the things that this person said was when Trump talks about this low IQ individual, you know, he said that about Joe Biden, and now he's saying it about Kamala Harris. And the thing is, this guy is a hardcore conservative. You know what he said? When Donald Trump says that, he is insulting people who may not have I'm going to air quote here, a high IQ, but these are the people that perhaps are truck drivers and bricklayers and the people that work with their hands. That's what some people will tell you when they talk about people who have low IQs. Now, I'm not saying that the people that work with their hands have low IQs, but what I am saying is that when you do that, you run the risk of alienating a certain segment of our population that may not have high IQs and may not give a crap what their IQ is. I myself, I could care less what my IQ is. You know what I know? I know that I know how to do my job and support my family. That's what I know. So when Trump is calling Harris a low IQ individual, what does it do? CNN, instead of talking about the economy, instead of talking about Israel, they've got 3 people on there talking about this comment. It is so absolutely absurd.
He's saying mean things, Dan.
He is. He's saying mean things, and people don't like that. Here's more from Michaela Montgomery.
We need to vote based on facts and not feelings. See, under Harris and Biden, the average Georgia household is losing $1,060 per month, and inflation is at 21.4%. And due to the war on energy, average gas prices have reached record highs for the state. We also did a poll, and 80% of us black Americans are not happy with the current state of the economy. So I'm going to need 80% of y'all to vote accordingly in November.
Go get it, Michaela. Now, this is the money quote. You ready for the money quote? She brings up, and this is relevant. She brings up Kamala Harris and Slick Willie.
The left wants you to get in your feelings about things that have been said, but I want you guys to pay attention to what has been done. They don't want to talk policy. They just want to use propaganda to steal your vote. The left is trying to tout this woman as a savior for the black community, but all she's done is hurt the black community since she came into the game. See, the first step in destroying the black community is to dismantle the black family. So aside from her record as a prosecutor, why don't we ask Mrs. Willie Brown if Kamala Harris cares about black families?
I mean, wow. She brought it. I'm telling you, this woman, Michaela Montgomery, when I was pulling this audio, you know what I said to Amy? I said, this is going to be the easiest segment I've ever done because all I have to do is play the audio.
A few days ago, President Trump said he didn't know Vice President Harris was a black woman. I'm trying to figure out what all the outrage is about because she's only black when it's time to get elected. people who are mad at Trump for being confused about her race, ethnicity, nationality, whatever, are seemingly forgetting that while you're touting her as a savior for black people, she identifies as an Asian woman. She chose her side and it wasn't ours. When asked if she would ever do anything specifically for black people, she said no. Whereas Trump gave us the Platinum Plan, which specifically uplifted the black community by increasing capital by almost $500 billion, creating 500,000 new black businesses, and would give black churches the ability to fight for federal resources for their communities.
I mean, she just absolutely stole the show. Michaela Montgomery.
Not supposed to talk about stuff like that, Brother Dan.
No.
Because that's stuff that really matters.
Oh, you know what? I've got another 4 audio bites that I don't have the time to play right now.
This woman is on fire.
Oh, she is. She was really good. I mean, listen, Trump is always good, but Michaela Montgomery.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, she was awesome.
She was.
But what killed me was when Trump brought her on. He said, when I first met this woman, I thought, I don't know if I'm going home to Melania or not.
Yeah, he did say that.
He said, now most politicians couldn't get away with that, but I don't care.
Not sure what Melania would have to say about that.
I don't either.
He's just trumping.
He's trumping.
Is that a new term, trumping?
I came up with it.
That's what Ken came up with. We like it.
You came up with that? When did you come up with that, Ken?
Actually, I did whenever I was watching his speech at the RNC with Mom and Dad while I was on vacation.
Wow, okay, trumping.
I said he's full on trumping now.
He's trumping. All right, very good. Well, let's do some weaving. Ken?
That was smooth.
No, it really wasn't. It wasn't at all.
Come on, Dan.
That was almost as smooth as... What exactly does a caterpillar turn into? And that is... Anyway, Ken, what's happening coming up?
All ears and eyes are on Wall Street this morning because right now futures show stocks are going to tank. All ears and eyes are on Hurricane Debbie, too. We'll tell you what Floridians are doing ahead of landfall. Coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes, and all ears and eyes are on Wall Street this morning. Japanese stocks crashing on fears about a U.S. economic slowdown. Stocks in Japan had their biggest ever daily loss this morning. Fears of a sharp slowdown in the U.S. economy, raising expectations that the Federal Reserve will have to slash interest rates. United States beefing up its presence in the Middle East in anticipation of retaliatory attacks on Israel following the assassination of two militant leaders in the region. We're keeping our eyes on that. Also, Hurricane Debbie expected to make landfall in Florida's Big Bend today. Here's Tom Sudasarn in Seminole County, who was doing some sandbagging.
We have a low-lying bedroom, and when it gets heavy rain, it comes underneath the door.
Yeah, Debbie makes landfall over Florida's Big Bend this morning, then expected to stall over the coastal regions of Georgia and get a load of the weather that rocked New Hampshire over the weekend.
It was like a river. I expected to see like a car floating by. It was an absolute deluge.
Yeah, the Manchester, New Hampshire Fire Department reporting more than 24 water emergency calls yesterday. Floodwater so strong, manhole covers were pushed off. And here in Tennessee, Channel 4 says more credit card skimmers are turning up, and not just at gas stations. This customer was surprised to learn several were found on self-checkout lanes at Kroger stores in Franklin.
I haven't ever suspected that somebody would try to steal, info from me here. I think it's becoming more and more prevalent, even in our safe little communities. We feel safe, right? Yeah. But we probably need to be more careful and have better ways to protect ourselves.
Yeah, so these credit card skimmers were found on some self-checkout credit card readers there at the Kroger stores in Franklin on Mallory Lane, Murfreesboro Road, and Hillsborough Road. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on into the gang of three amigos, brought to you by My Patriot Supply at preparewithmandis.com. Happy Monday, says everybody. How are we doing today?
Just doing good, brother.
Just fantastic.
So, a couple of things.
Yeah.
Weaves, people are fact-checking you, my friend.
Uh-oh.
Now, welcome to my world.
Okay, what are they saying?
Well, I guess Trumping was something that was actually coined back in 2020.
Who did that?
I don't know, people. It's what they say. People say.
Maybe it was me.
Yeah, maybe you were visiting your parents then, too?
Yeah, and in fact, I did.
Did you, Ken? Did you really?
Right. And knowing old Joe Weaver, he probably took credit.
He probably did.
That's funny.
Just kidding, Papa.
So anyway, there is that. I believe you, Ken. I believe that is a Weaverism is what that is.
Well,
a Weaverism.
I mean, it comes with a firm handshake and a pat on the back, so I don't care.
There you go. That's exactly right. Now, a couple of other things real quick. Did you see that the Philadelphia mayor, Sherelle Parker, posted a video? I think this was on Friday. This was on Friday after we got off the air. I don't know if it was Friday, Saturday, whenever it was. But she posted a video revealing who the VP nominee or the running mate of Kamala Harris is going to be, which is apparently supposed to be announced today, but she accidentally posted the video to her Instagram page. This is what it does. That's a big you want to get away.
She is the right person at the right time for this job.
It's going to do right by labor. It's going to do right by working people.
And I can't think of a better partner than our Governor Josh Shapiro.
So, oops.
Darn.
So there's a picture of Shapiro, and, they've got all these signs with, Kamala Harris on it, and Philadelphia, because, he is the governor of Pennsylvania.
His policies have not only supported the working class, but have set standards for progressive leadership that benefits all citizens.
Philadelphia building trades.
IBW for Kamala Harris.
There you go. All the unions for Kamala Harris, everybody.
My gosh,
well done. Well done.
Yeah, Arizona Senator Mark Kelly had an oops moment, too.
Did he?
Yeah, he sent out a tweet.
Do you mean besides owning a spy balloon company courtesy of China? Because that's in the news, too. But go ahead, Ken.
He sent out a tweet yesterday saying that my background is a bit different than most politicians. I spent my life serving in the Navy and in NASA. And then it was quickly brought down because he said he's going to keep serving Arizonans.
Oh, okay.
And he came back and said, I was just reminding everybody that no matter what happens, I still like Arizona.
So do you think this Philadelphia mayor, Sherelle Parker, how do you accidentally post that video?
Because you don't know what you're doing. You're in such a hurry.
Well, and two, was it someone that works for her?
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
I don't know how you make that mistake.
I could see where an underling would.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
They probably had it all written up and ready to go. And they were going to fire it off at a certain time. And
so it didn't, and I'm not, trying to pick a fight with anybody, but I mean, I thought conservatives kept saying that Josh Shapiro couldn't be the VP because he's Jewish.
Yeah, looks like he.
Listen, I heard that. I never said it, but I kept hearing it. And I believe that is a legit point in the sense that now he's very pro-Israel.
Yeah.
And so let's face it, there is a very anti-Israel thread that runs through, some segments of the Democrat Party.
Is he pro-Netanyahu? That's the question.
That's a good question. And I don't know the answer to that question.
Because Netanyahu is the one who is getting blasted by the left because they think that he is being inhumane.
Yeah, but you also have a lot of the folks who are in the Democrat Party who deny Israel's right to exist.
That is
regardless
true.
of Netanyahu.
That is true. But this might get the squad to shut their mouths for a little bit. At least through November.
Okay.
I don't know.
Want to make a bet?
Yeah, you never know. I mean, that could be what they're banking on.
Could be.
Honestly, does Mark Kelly have the fire to go up against Trump and Vance? No.
Here's what I like about Mark Kelly is that all that time he spent in NASA, it's possible that his experience with aliens would help him communicate with Nancy Pelosi.
So he was in a good place to make whatever decision, the top of his game. Such a consequential president of the United States, a Mount Rushmore kind of president of the United States. Want to know what comes next.
That he belongs up there on Mount Rushmore. Lincoln and Joe Biden.
But you got Teddy Roosevelt up there, and he's wonderful. I don't say take him down, but you can add Biden.
Sure, okay.
Is that real?
Yes, that's
real.
Is that Leslie Stahl, right? That's Leslie Stahl.
She was even questioning.
I tweeted
Are
out.
you drunk, Nancy?
See, that's what I said. I said they're drinking awfully early in San Francisco with Nancy Pelosi. Holy mackerel. Yeah, that's her thing.
Well, I guess we can put Biden's head on the butt side of. Yeah, we can do that, Nancy. We'll work that out.
Put it to the rear of Mount Rushmore.
Yes.
Is there? Okay.
Wow.
I don't know the answer to this question. Is there room for another head on there anyway?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
So maybe what they can do is they can take Teddy, like people do with tattoos.
Yes.
And they like obfuscate the original tattoo and they make it something else. Maybe they can try to take Teddy Roosevelt's head and make it into Joe Biden like they do tattoos.
Yeah, there you go.
But, I mean, obviously, clearly, when she says consequential president, Republicans and conservatives like yours truly will say, oh, he's been a lot of consequences of that election in 2020. Yeah, there's been a lot of consequences. So for Pelosi, she's being mocked because I can't believe that she would actually say that. That is obviously more gaslighting of the American people. Hey, guess what I did over the weekend?
What did you do this weekend, Dan Mandis?
I went to Morgan Wallen's bar.
Wow. What was it like?
Did you get all drunk?
Define drunk.
Do some drinking.
Were you dancing and biting your lip?
Oh, my God. Okay.
So you were?
Yeah, you were.
You were dancing and biting your lip while you were doing it.
You were doing the white man dance, weren't you?
So there's 3 levels. First of all, you go
3 levels to the club or 3 levels of drunkenness?
To the club. All of the above, Johnny. So we go up to the top floor.
Yeah.
The top, the roof.
Yeah, the roof.
And the roof bar.
Sometimes where chairs fall off the.
Yeah, they have a chair throwing.
No, you know what's interesting though? All the chairs were anchored to the ground.
I bet
they were.
I'm kidding.
I bet they need to be.
Yeah, they do.
But it's clear that, they enjoy up there on that rooftop a lot more than just alcohol.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A little skunky up there, was it?
A little devil's lettuce kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's kind of Nashville.
Yes, it is.
So I don't know if somebody has smoked it. I don't know. I'm not accusing Morgan Wallen's bar of doing anything.
Right.
All I'm saying is I felt like, the memory of the Rolling Stones concert when I was 13, when I walked into the Coliseum and what is that smell? I'm 13 years old. I smelled that for the first time.
That's how old I was. I went to a Mountain Black Sabbath concert. Asked my sister, "What's that smell?"
Yeah, that's exactly
that's
right.
Marijuana, John.
I went
that's
with
rock and roll, brother.
I went with my mom's boyfriend, and I said, "What's that smell?" You know what he said?
What?
Ask your mother.
Good answer.
Like he wasn't allowed to tell me what pot was and marijuana was.
My sister was very honest. Yeah.
I found out. Anyway, so then we go down to one of the other floors.
Yeah.
Now I'm just going to say this is a very diverse crowd. All right. So there are a lot of black folks, a lot of white folks.
Yep.
Older, younger. I was dreading this. Amy told me that she wanted to do this because we're both big fans of Morgan Wallen. So I said, all right, fine. I will go to the Morgan Wallen bar. I hate Nashville, but I would go down to Morgan Wallen's bar. I had a blast.
Good.
Because I was not the only old guy there. There was a lot of older people, younger people, and everybody was having a great time. So there were some guys there who got really excited when the band broke out in Man, I Feel Like a Woman, right? You know what I'm talking about?
So there's some gay dudes there.
Yes, they were gay. I'm assuming. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing.
Well, did you jump up and dance?
That's part of the story. So, number one, I love that song, but these guys were like,
they were kind of
loved
the song.
They were living it.
Well, one of them, kind of grabbing on the other one, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And they mistook my arse for somebody else's.
Uh-oh.
And
they grabbed yours?
They grabbed my butt. My butt was groped by some dude at Morgan Wallen's bar. Now, I'm going to tell you that I look back and he's like, he clearly, I thought you were my friend. And I'm like, okay, whatever, man. I'm not going to get into it. I'm just going to, whatever. I really didn't care because I'm going to be honest with you, I was kind of happy at the moment. And not because, man, I feel like a woman came on.
Or that he grabbed your butt.
Or that he grabbed my butt. I was just kind of, flying high again, if you know what I mean.
Sure, gotcha.
So then I start sort of dancing a little bit. Yeah. You know what I mean? And Amy says, don't do the hands. Because I was kind of.
Don't do the hands.
Oh, Brother Dan.
And I realized that I've been making fun of Donald Trump dancing for so long.
You were doing the Donald Trump dance.
I was doing the Donald Trump dance. And so she said, no, don't do the hands. And so for the rest of the night, she made sure that my hands were like on her waist, or she was just keeping my hands down so that I swayed, but I didn't do the hands. That's what I did.
Have you watched Wild?
It was fun.
Have you watched Wild Hogs ever?
Oh,
you need to.
No, Wild
you
Hogs,
really
the movie. I think
the movie.
I can't remember if I saw it or not.
Yeah, we need to. That's
Really?
what we need to all get together and watch.
Really? Wild
Yes.
Hogs?
Yes, because there's one character in there, man. I swear to gosh, he reminds me. It's the William H. Macy character, because even in that, he's trying to dance, and they go, "Oh, there go the hands again."
Oh, really? Okay. Listen, I was just having a good time.
You were having a good time,
that's
Brother
all
Dan.
it was, you know
man.
what? People on the super text line. Mario says, "Yeah, that's trumping." Doing the whole Trump dance.
There you go.
That's right. That's trumping.
That's exactly
You were trumping.
right. I was.
Because I'm your favorite president.
Had a great time.
Brother Dan, that's awesome.
That
man.
is awesome.
We had such a good time. And so I was determined not to be the guy that said I want to go. So Amy says, because I wanted to prove that I could stick it out, right?
Yeah.
So we do some drinking on the third floor, second floor, first floor. And clearly Amy decided that she was going to be the designated driver, which left me to just have some fun. And so we had a good time. And finally Amy says, "Hey, whenever you're ready to go, we can go."
And
so
you weren't ready.
I'm just having a good old time listening to the band and having fun.
Yeah.
About 5 minutes later, she said, "Okay, I'm ready to go."
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, come on, honey, 5 more minutes." I was dying to leave, but I wasn't going to allow her to outlast me. So I stayed longer than I wanted to because I wanted to make sure I wasn't the one that wanted to leave first.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
you didn't let the old man in.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. So,
And as a designated driver, hanging out with people who are drunk, you're always ready to go.
Yes, trust me.
yeah.
Party's
Yeah.
over.
Because
Yeah.
this weekend, Dan, I was at a party, and I was the only one not drinking. And we show up at this party. It's at a friend's house. We get in there, and one of the wives she's hammered. And we're walking up, and she tells me that the guys are inside and go in there. So I'm saying, which door do I need to go in? And she couldn't figure out which one. And then finally her friend next to her said, well, it'd be that one. I said, "I'm great, thank you." She goes, I live here, but I don't know how to get my own house. She said, don't worry, Ron. We'll get you taken care of.
Ron.
She called you Ron?
She called me Ron. So I go inside, and I'm laughing, and her her husband says, "What's so funny?" I said, "Well, your wife just called me Ron." And we all started laughing. And of course, he wasn't laughing too hard. But I said, "Well, I want to be known now as Ronnie B."
As Ronnie B.
As Ronnie B. Ron Burgundy.
Brother Ronnie B.
And all I left with was College Grove, you can go yourself.
There you go. That's funny.
So
you ever be around like really drunk people that you know, and it just gets kind of awkward when they, like, especially
yes.
I love you, man, and they start getting all close talking to you and
Yes,
stuff.
hugging you.
Yeah, we had a friend back in the day. This was after high school. This was in between high school and actually needing to grow up. We had a friend that he was very, very obnoxious and would always pass out, and he always woke up with his ears full of toothpaste.
What?
Why would he pass out? We'd fill his ears up with toothpaste.
Oh, you would do that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you'd put toothpaste in his ears.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was a real jackass when he was drunk.
You know, you could have taken like a Sharpie. Ever do the Sharpie to somebody's forehead?
Nah, this was better.
Yeah. Or put whipped cream on their hand so that when they wake up and they take their hand to wipe their eyes, they end up getting a whole lot of whipped cream or whatever.
We could have done that too. We probably should have done that too.
Or draw pictures on their face.
But
draw pictures on their face, yes.
Well, you couldn't find the whipped cream because everybody was hungry.
Yeah, there is that too. Well, you know, that goes with some of the other things you guys were probably doing.
Not in Oklahoma.
No? Oh, I see.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
They grow it there.
Ken's awfully quiet over there.
He sure is. He got really quiet, didn't he?
It grows like weeds, boys.
It does, but I'm telling you what, man, you don't want to pick any of that.
Nope.
It's terrible.
Well, and it's probably somebody's.
Yeah.
And they've got cameras on it.
Yeah.
John says it sounds like a good time for a random drug screen accumulus.
Well, bring it.
7666 says the radio just started working. Start the show over, please. No, I don't think we could recreate this even if we tried.
No, we couldn't. I'm sorry.
So we'll go ahead and let's do that. Hey, Ken, what's coming up?
All ears and eyes on Wall Street because it's probably going to tank right after the opening bell this morning. We'll tell you what's been going on overseas. Israel's bracing for retaliation. Hurricane Debbie headed toward Florida's Big Bend, but Georgia is bracing for her too. And these credit card skimmers showing up in Middle Tennessee. Franklin is dealing with it. We'll tell you where coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. 5:53 on Nashville's Morning News. Okay, so coming up next, couple of things from Donald Trump's big appearance, his big rally in Atlanta over the weekend. That is coming up. Some great audio and Trump throwing down, a lot of really good policy. But that didn't stop George Stephanopoulos from asking really lame and irrelevant questions when he had Byron Donalds on his ABC show over the weekend. So that and a whole lot more straight ahead. It's Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
5:57, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. George Stephanopoulos asked this question of Byron Donalds.
I'll read it to you right now. This was Rachel Scott's question. My question is on those rioters who assaulted officers. Would you pardon those people? Oh, absolutely, I would. That's his words.
Oh, George Stephanopoulos caught in a lie. I'm going to tell you how. Coming up next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Six o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. All ears and eyes going to be on Wall Street this morning. Big sell-off in Japan today due to investors around the world worried about the U.S. economy. Market numbers coming up in 4 minutes. Israel bracing for retaliation for assassinating Hamas's political chief and then the death of a top commander for Hezbollah.
The Pentagon is now sending an additional fighter squadron and more warships to the Middle East. Meanwhile, the Israeli military says an officer and a soldier were injured this morning in northern Israel after rockets crossed from Lebanon. Israel has been fighting with the Iranian-backed militant group Hezbollah in that area. And overnight, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said he spoke with his Israeli counterpart to reiterate U.S. support for Israel. President Biden is convening a national security meeting today to discuss developments in the Middle East.
As Christiane Cordero reporting, Hurricane Debbie headed toward Florida's Big Bend. Then it's expected to stall off of Georgia's coast, and it has that state's Emergency Management and Homeland Security Director worried.
Rainfall is expected to be around 20 inches in the area of Savannah and locally possibly even more. If so, that will be a generational storm that we've not seen.
Yeah, they're calling that a 500-year storm. We'll have to see. Channel 4 says more credit card skimmers are turning up in Middle Tennessee, not just at gas stations. This customer was surprised to learn several were found on self-checkout lanes at Kroger stores in Franklin.
I haven't ever suspected that somebody would try to steal, info from me here. I think it's becoming more and more prevalent, even in our safe little communities. We feel safe, right? Yeah. But we probably need to be more careful and have better ways to protect ourselves.
Yeah, these scammers were found on some self-checkout credit card readers at the Kroger stores in Franklin on Mallory Lane, Murfreesboro Road, and Hillsborough Road. Market Numbers Report brought to you by Beacon Capital Management. Online at beaconcm.com. Here's Jim Ryan.
Despite the Fed's hints at an interest rate cut in September, investors fear that cracks are developing in the economy. The Dow Jones was down 700 points yesterday before paring its losses to 500 points and closing at 40,348. The broad market S&P fell nearly 1.4% yesterday. The Nasdaq plunged 2.3%. U.S. regulators want to know why grocery prices are still high, even as costs for retailers drop. The Federal Trade Commission will ask major chains like Walmart, Costco, and Amazon for cost and price data on common products. An FTC study finds profits for food retailers rising more than 6% as food prices soared 25%. 3 years after the pandemic lockdowns, Americans have developed a taste for dining in. Shares in DoorDash popped 13% in extended trading yesterday after the food delivery company reported second quarter results that beat analysts' expectations.
All right, Dow futures are down 783, S&P down 156, NASDAQ futures down 828. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Information fueled,
opinion driven. This is Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis.
And so, my fellow Americans,
we talk news.
6:06, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. So much going on this morning. Israel on the brink. They are in the crosshairs of Iran, so we're watching everything going on in the Middle East. That's number one. Number two, we do have our economy. We don't know what's going to happen. when the market opens. The futures, as you heard Ken reporting, really, really ugly. So we're watching the markets as well this morning. Just a lot going on. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm going to call a bit of an audible here because it does play into what I was going to talk about in this segment. Frank Luntz. Now, if you don't know who Frank Luntz is, he is one of these big time pollsters, and, he knows a lot about politics. He watches, races and everything else. And he's a very smart guy. So he is giving Donald Trump some advice. Now, I'm going to tell you, Frank Luntz is no fan of Donald Trump, but he is an equal opportunity offender in the sense that he also goes after the other side. So he's given Donald Trump some advice. There is a 10-word question that Donald Trump should and could ask regarding Kamala Harris that Frank Luntz says would help change the race. I want you to listen very closely.
Because people don't like it when politicians attack each other. Accountability, yes.
So
attacks, no.
So what's the word choice for Trump against Harris?
Can you name one thing she did as vice president? And leave it at that.
Can you name one thing that Kamala Harris has done as vice president? Because let's be honest, the only thing that she's really known for is being the border czar, and we know how that turned out.
Can you name one thing she accomplished as vice president? 10 words.
That's it. 10 words. That's all you got to do. 10 words. Now, he brings up a point about Donald Trump, which I think is somewhat accurate.
He's incapable. And all these people are going to watch this. All these Trump voters are going to say, you're so mean and you're so partisan and you don't like him, so you're criticizing him. Just once can he answer a question in 10 words or answer with yes or no. Just once can he answer anything without delivering an attack. This room and what this represents deserves a lot better than that.
They're in the Oval Office.
And it's a legitimate criticism. She was number 2 in this country. She was given the responsibility for immigration. Now I'm going to upset the other side.
Yeah.
How's our immigration working out?
Well, her folks would say she was put in charge of investigating the root causes of immigration.
And what did she do there? And what did she do there?
There you go.
How many vice presidents?
How successful has she been? What else did Joe Biden task her to do? In our lifetime, we've seen Dick Cheney, who's arguably as powerful as the president. A vice president, and Joe Biden, when he was vice president, had specific responsibilities under the Obama administration. She did nothing.
All right, so that is Frank Luntz. And the core, what I took away from that was Donald Trump, because he's criticizing Donald Trump for not being clear and concise. That's basically what he said about Donald Trump. And so there was the whole thing with the black journalists in Chicago. Remember that whole thing? We all know what Donald Trump said about Kamala Harris. But one of the things that was discussed with Byron Donalds over the weekend, I think, brings this situation regarding this quirk in Donald Trump's personality. And I say this as a Donald Trump supporter, and I like Donald Trump a lot. But he uses so many words. Like he does. He uses a lot of words, and oftentimes he's not real concise. And so I think that there are times when he means to answer a question, but he just doesn't. And then he starts ricocheting all over the place, and he doesn't actually say what he meant to say in the beginning of the statement. By the time he gets to the end, he's said, 3 or 4 other things. And so when George Stephanopoulos asked this question, Byron Donalds and George Stephanopoulos, they really went at it over the weekend regarding a number of different things. One of the biggest ones was January 6th. Listen.
Also said at the convention that he would pardon January 6 rioters who assaulted police officers. Do you support that?
Actually, what he said is that he was going to review every single case. He even repeated that again in Chicago at the NABJ. Listen, what we do understand is that the Department of Justice under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they did massively push up charges on people who protested at the Capitol and some who rioted at the Capitol on January 6th.
All right, so that was just the opening salvo. Stephanopoulos asked about pardoning all the January 6th prisoners, which is what he claims Donald Trump said, that Trump was going to pardon all of the January 6th prisoners. And Donald, of course, Byron Donald says no. Donald Trump said that he would review the cases. And they start arguing about what the quote actually was.
I'll read it to you right now. This was Rachel Scott's question. My question is on those rioters who assaulted officers. Would you pardon those people? Oh, absolutely, I would. That's his words.
So Stephanopoulos is mistaken. Now, what I don't understand is why didn't they just get the actual audio so that they could play it so that both of these guys, Byron Donalds and George Stephanopoulos, would know exactly what the quote was that they were working with. Here's what actually was said on that stage with the black journalists in Chicago.
When Time Magazine asked you if you would consider pardoning all the rioters, you said, yes, absolutely. Sure. You called them patriots.
All right, so Stephanopoulos has it wrong. It was Rachel Scott who said absolutely. Now, you did hear that he would pardon the J6ers. Now, that was according to Time Magazine. It was a Time Magazine quote. So Stephanopoulos has it wrong. And as far as I can tell, Byron Donalds actually doesn't have it right either. So she's quoting Time Magazine article where Trump supposedly said he would consider these pardons. But here's the deal. The operative word is consider. That's number one. So Donalds is right in all of this. Stephanopoulos did change the quote from the Black Reporters Convention. And again, I'm going to replay this in order.
I'll read it to you right now. This was Rachel Scott's question. My question is on those rioters who assaulted officers. Would you pardon those people? Oh, absolutely, I would. That's his words.
Okay, so again, do you trust the Time Magazine article? Rachel Scott is the one that used those words. She was reading a supposed quote from Donald Trump in that Time Magazine article.
When Time Magazine asked you if you would consider pardoning all the rioters, you said, yes, absolutely. Sure. You called them patriots.
All right, so again, the operative word is consider. Now, you also hear Donald Trump say, sure, yes, but I believe, again, that the word that they're utilizing and that we should all focus on is consider. Just like any other prisoner in America today, you always have to look at the facts. And when we imprison someone, their cases can always be appealed. You don't just lock them up and throw away the keys. You look at each individual case and make a decision, period. And so that's what Donald Trump has said in the past is, yeah, I'm going to look at the cases. I will consider the cases. If it looks like they have been imprisoned unfairly, then I will pardon them. I mean, that's what he has said. But Stephanopoulos and Rachel Scott, they're trying to make it look like he's just going to get into office and on day one, he's just going to release everybody. And he's never said that, not once. And so George Stephanopoulos is obfuscating or lying about what Donald Trump actually said. There's a little bit more on this. We'll get to it straight ahead. 6:15, time to check the roads on WTN. Thank you very much. Sunny today and a high of 96, 71 now at WTN. So the interview with Byron Donalds and George Stephanopoulos, which actually made a lot of headlines, what both Donald Trump and Byron Donalds bring up, rightly so, by the way, when the question inevitably goes back down to the January 6th rioters, they always bring up what happened with these crazed pro-Hamas protesters destroying Washington, D.C., or the monuments. You've got the George Floyd protesters as well, destroying American cities. Nothing happens to them. And that is a fair point to bring up. But what is frustrating is that if you actually listen to that entire 30-minute exchange between Donald Trump and Rachel Scott, you had Harris Faulkner from Fox News as well, nowhere in that conversation does Donald Trump ever bring up what Byron Donalds is saying. So Donald's is wrong as well. Trump never actually said in this particular interview that he would look at the cases, consider each case on its own merit, and a decision would be made on each individual case. So they're taking what Trump's intentions are way out of context. But if you watch the interview that Trump did with the black journalist, it's like he ricochets all over the place. He needs to have just a statement where he clearly defines his position. Because I know what he means. Byron Donalds know what he means. You folks know what he means. And Donald Trump knows what he means, but he doesn't ever state it in the interview. And you can't just go and say, well, we all know what he means. Yeah, but they'll take his words, and if he isn't very succinct and concise, they're going to take it out of context. And again, the main word, the operative word that we have to focus on is consider. He's going to look at the cases and he's going to consider it. That's what they need to do. And so when you heard the audio from Frank Luntz, where he says, if Trump could just, in 10 words, ask the question, what has Kamala Harris actually accomplished as vice president? That's what the former president needs to do. Short, concise statements of fact, or short, concise questions. What have you done? Go. Because let's face it, when Kamala Harris gets into trouble, it's like the debate with Joe Biden. Donald Trump was perfect. He let Joe Biden talk. And you know what happens when Joe Biden talks? He talks himself into oblivion, and he talked himself right out of a second term. And that's what Donald Trump needs to do. Remember, for example, Kamala Harris, on a day today, I opened up the show with this, on a day like today where all eyes are on the economy, all eyes are on the stock market because of the absolutely abysmal jobs report that we saw on Friday, everybody is looking at the stock market. The futures were a disaster. This is what Kamala Harris said last week regarding the economy.
Well, let's start with this. Prices have gone up, and families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more. And we have to understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up. That's about having to stress and stretch limited resources. That's about a source of stress for families that is not only economic, but is on a daily level, something that is a heavy weight to carry. So it is something that we take very seriously.
So defining the problem is not answering the question. And that's what she did. She redefined the problem. We know the problem. But does she have a solution? No, it's clear that she doesn't. And when the first 3 or 4 seconds of the soundbite is a presidential candidate, when the economy is the number one issue for the American people, the economy is the number one issue probably for you. And the first few seconds of that soundbite is silence and stammering.
Well, let's start with this.
I mean, that doesn't exactly bring forth a lot of confidence in Kamala Harris. That's what Donald Trump needs to do.
Yeah, she basically tells us what we're all really feeling.
Right. And so that's what Trump needs to do. He needs to ask short, concise questions, make short, concise statements so that there is absolutely no gray area when it comes to how he feels about any particular topic or issue. And he needs to, again, ask Kamala Harris the very simple questions and let her Kamala word salad like she does. And I think that people would be amazed at how Donald Trump's numbers would go back up and Kamala Harris's numbers would go crashing down, just like it seems like or it feels like our economy is about to do, and Kamala Harris has absolutely no idea as to how to fix it. 622 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, the Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986. You know, folks sometimes ask me about the Glock Store and why I love the Glock Store so much. Well, listen, it is not because they pay me to talk about them. I was a customer first, then they paid me. Now, they started advertising here on WTN. I was curious, so I went down to the Glock Store, finally bought my first gun, amazingly enough, a Glock at the Glock Store. Then I started their incredible training and added that to my commercials as well. Now, just like most of my other sponsors, I am a client and a satisfied one. Now, I did get a bit of a discount on some upgrades, but they weren't free, and they were basically the upgrades and the discounts that you can get weekly at the Glock Store. Check them out today, glockstore.com. So in short, I am a fan of the Glock Store because of what they can offer you. So I tell you about them and am proud to do so. Check out their merch and sign up for some training. Buy a gun. Get your own gun upgraded. Glockstore.com. That's Glockstore.com. As always, tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. That website, one more time, is Glockstore.com, 623 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Ken Weaver, what's coming up in the news?
Landfall in Florida. Debbie is there. Wall Street showing signs of another sell-off today. Israel bracing for retaliation. North Nashville residents speak out after a deadly crash they say could be prevented if the intersection was safer. Coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
628, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Ken Weaver coming up with the news at 6:30. And Jonathan Fahe is going to be joining us at 6:36 here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You need a backup home standby generator, and you need to buy it from my friends at Cove Generators. Now, right now, listeners to my show, you're going to get $500 off when you mention my name, Dan Mandis, when you call my friends at Cove Generators. Now, I know that you've seen the stories out of places like Texas and other places where they do have these massive power outages. Now, you know what that means. It means the lights are off. It means your refrigerator's off. It means your power is off. If you have a backup home standby generator from Cove Generators, then your power goes out. That backup home standby generator keeps your power and your lights on and your family safe. Now, if you've got any questions, call my buddy Generator Dave. He's going to answer whatever questions you have. Now, Dave and the entire team at Cove Generators, they're going to answer your questions before and after you buy that backup generator. Now, remember that great deal, $500 off. When you mention my name, Dan Mandis, that is a deal you're not going to find anywhere else but at Cove Generators. $500 off. Call them at 931-559-3311. 931-559-3311. You can find them online, covegenerators.com. That's covegenerators.com. Terms and conditions may apply.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, 6:30 on the dot. And we've got the full forecast and traffic coming up in just 5 minutes. Hurricane Debbie just made landfall as a Cat 1 storm, packing 80-mile-per-hour winds there on North Florida's Big Bend. Georgia's Emergency Management and Homeland Security Director is worried when it gets there.
Debbie could stall along the Georgia coast on Wednesday, and that's a concern for us. It'll create a life-threatening historic rainfall event there in the area.
Yeah, that's Chris Stallings calling it a potential 500-year storm. Governor Brian Kemp's already issued a state of emergency. National Weather Service telling the Carolinas to brace for heavy rain starting tonight through Friday. Japan's stock market tumbled overnight. The Nikkei saw its worst numbers since 1987 over worries the U.S. economy is in a recession. Wall Street right now poised for more losses this morning. Israel bracing for retaliation from Iran for assassinating Hamas top political leader and then the top Hezbollah military official.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken spoke to G7 leaders yesterday, reportedly warning them Iran could strike Israel within the next 24 hours. According to the website Axios, Blinken said the U.S. doesn't know the exact time of a planned attack by Iran, but it could begin as early as today. Iran's supreme leader ordered a strike on Israel after last week's assassination of a top Hamas leader in Tehran.
That's Christiane Cordero reporting. Right now in Nashville, residents Channel 4 interviewed are speaking out about what they say is a dangerous intersection where a crash between a sedan and a FedEx tractor trailer Saturday left 1 dead and 3 injured.
It's very dangerous. There's been many cars pull out in front of me and my husband on that road in that intersection. It is a little bit blinding because there is so much overgrowth on the road.
You have to come down almost to the street to see because of the bushes down there.
Yeah, this crash happened Saturday evening at the intersection of Knight and Ewing Drives. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Thank you, Ken. 632 on Super Talk 99.7. Dan Mandis here with a question for you. What would happen if your roof was destroyed in a storm? And how much of that replacement cost would your insurance company cover? Now, if you don't know, you really do need to ask because some insurance companies, they're not going to pay full replacement cost. That's right. What they're going to do is deduct money for an older roof. Now, this means that the insurance company is depreciating how much they pay for your roof claim. Older roof, they're going to pay you less. That's going to leave you on the hook for thousands of dollars. Now, I've been telling you about my friends at King & Associates Insurance for a long time now. At King & Associates, they will pay full replacement cost. So whether you have to replace a 10-year-old roof or a 2-year-old roof, they will pay for it to be replaced, period. It is that kind of focus on customer service that makes King & Associates Insurance one of the best insurance companies around. Call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-329-8121. 615-329-8121. Get your royal review, tkinginsurance.com. .637 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on in. Your Monday, August 5th. Hope you're doing well. There is a lot going on. I'm wondering if this soundbite from Dana Bash over the weekend on CNN is a sign that the tide may be turning on Kamala Harris.
In the 2020 primary, the vice president praised the defund the police movement, and now she says she doesn't support defunding the police. She called for decriminalizing crossing the border illegally. Now she supports President Biden's policies for clamping down at the border. She supported Medicare for all at one point, eliminating private insurance, and her campaign says she doesn't support that now. She's reversed herself on a fracking ban. What do you think that voters should think when she's reversed herself on several issues just in the last 4 years?
I think that voters should think that she's a human being who learns.
All right, so that is LaFonza Butler, and she is a Democrat senator. And I want to bring in Jonathan Fahe, our political analyst here on WTN and Nashville's Morning News. Jonathan, you heard Dana Bash. You heard that she is acknowledging a lot of flip-flopping. I don't know. Do you think this is maybe possibly a sign that with the vacuum of comments by Kamala Harris as far as interviews go and answering questions, do you think this is maybe a sign that CNN is about ready to start asking the questions that they so far haven't been?
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I don't know. I mean, they almost have to ask like your position was this and now it's this. They have to at least throw that out there. But it is nice to see that they're asking serious questions because, as you know, with her and with President Biden, they really have never faced any serious scrutiny. The press is remarkably incurious dealing with them. So I hope that is a trend. And the fact that, we have a presidential candidate who everyone acknowledges is incapable of substantively talking about issues, cannot go on the press, you cannot, do interviews, can't do press conferences. You would hope the press, after, the shameful way they treated Joe Biden and his, whatever is going on with him mentally by hiding that, they would have some self-respect and a sense of shame that they would ask serious questions. And are they going to press her to answer questions, or is she just going to get away with a campaign where she does maybe an interview or two on The View or shows like that where they just, have softball questions, self-serving questions, ask her favorite ice cream and all the stuff they gave to Biden. But I do hope CNN will ask these questions because this is, these are the issues that the American people should be focusing on. So, they should know where these people stand. And do we believe her position now or her position then? Well, you think the position of what this White House has done has been in line with what she would do, which is open borders. Everyone's getting poorer. We're less safe internally. We're less safe on the foreign, on the foreign stage. Mm-hmm. But I hope the questions are serious. The honeymoon period is ending. But I'm not sure. I just think that the press is so invested not only in the Democrats winning, but in defeating Trump that I don't know. But CNN has been, admittedly, they were good on the debate with Biden, although there might be the ulterior motive to move him out of there. But they have been seemingly a little bit better than they had been in the past.
Jonathan Fahe is joining us. And I think part of the reason why, and what's going on with, the markets today, we're all watching to see what the reaction will be because the futures were ugly. The Nikkei in Japan, some of these other markets really ugly because of the reaction to, among other things, the really bad jobs report on Friday. They're now talking about maybe an emergency rate cut. We'll have to see what the day brings us. But, this was Kamala Harris's comment on the economy. And, let's just face it, as I've said many times now, it's not exactly confidence-inducing.
Well, let's start with this. Prices have gone up. And families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more. That gas
clearly, Jonathan, and this is like basically another 35 seconds where she's redefining the problem. And as I've said now 4 times today, in the first couple of hours of the program, when the soundbite starts with silence and stammering, you know that she's in trouble. So I don't think on a day where all eyes are on the economy, I don't think that the American people have confidence in her on the economy, and that is showing in the polls.
Yeah, it's really stunning when you listen to that, or any time she has the chance to talk or is forced to talk off a teleprompter. It is almost scary how ill-informed she is, how she can't adjust to any questions, and that there's no way things like that can, instill any confidence. And the truth is, it's like she doesn't have any idea what she's doing. She's skated through her political career. The Biden administration, within a year, recognized her total incompetence and stopped giving her any serious roles. So even within a failing administration, she was still thought to be just utterly useless because the only things they had her do after she either walked away or was removed from the border role was these ceremonial type of roles, talking to kids about space travel, just utter and complete nonsense. Other than they'll put her out to talk about abortion, but it is scary. There's no way, and you think of what may be on the horizon with Iran and Israel and possibly us, and to think of her being in charge. Can you even imagine her dealing with that issue? Even discussing that issue in a serious way. I mean, remember the Ukraine comment. What was that? A couple of years, Ukraine's a small country, got eaten by a big country.
Yes.
It was such complete idiocy that it's just such an embarrassment. You don't find anyone at any level of politics that is as ill-informed as her. It's stunning because it's not like they pulled her out of like the business world to run for office and she had to learn all these things. She's been in politics, in national politics for the last 10 years, in the White House for the last 3.5 years, and cannot discuss anything in a way that makes you think she has any idea what's going on. And these, talking what when prices go up, it costs more. And it's like, okay, we get it. But it's funny that she gets away with this because anyone else, if this was on the Republican side of the aisle, their candidacy would have ended, the first time they said one of these things. Remember Rick Perry, when he talked about the 3 agencies he eliminated and couldn't think of the third one? That was the end of his candidacy. One thing crushes you on our side of the aisle, and on their side of the aisle, you could just be just incoherent babbling, and you're the candidate for president of the United States. It's truly stunning.
It is stunning, especially when you're paying attention. You've paid attention to elections of the past and various candidates who, again, as you noted, where they have said things and it absolutely crushed their candidacy. And time again, we've seen Kamala Harris, heck, just Friday, we're all laughing about how she was screaming at Americans, how dare you, and she denied saying this until they found the tape, how dare you say Merry Christmas? I mean, I don't know what more the American people need to see. I'm going to ask you a little bit on Israel coming up next. Jonathan Fahe is joining us. Time to check the roads real quick on WTN. Thank you very much. 646 sunny today and a high of 96. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. Jonathan, let me ask you this. There was an article over the weekend. It wasn't really surprising, but there are some senators now that are accusing President Biden and the Biden administration of holding back weapons, deliberately withholding defense materials from Israel on a day where, and we were covering this earlier, that all eyes right now are on Israel because Iran, word is, they're going to attack any day now, and not going to look good for the Biden administration deliberately withholding defense materials from Israel as Iran is getting ready to attack. But this has been going on for quite some time.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, we're withholding weapons that were voted for to go there. So these are things that should be going there. Meanwhile, the amount of money that has gone to the Palestinians, which in essence goes to Hamas, what is it, like $1 billion? So this idea of trying to be on both sides of this thing, one, it clearly makes this, it prolongs this, but the other thing is it shows how incredibly weak this administration is. And Iran is looking at, I'm sure they're looking at this, they look at Joe Biden's ineptitude, they look at the future. If Donald Trump is a president, they're probably going to be a lot less likely to do something because they know the retaliation will be serious and significant. So, yeah, all of these things just shows that this administration, everything is just, they look at everything through this domestic political lens. It's like, okay, we have to be on both sides of this so we could keep all of these factions in our base that aren't necessarily or aren't aligned at all. And meanwhile, Israel's less safe and the United States is less safe. And you go back to our border and our, Department of Homeland Security that has spent the entire 3.5 years of basically trying to make ICE an outpost for La Raza and just have as many illegal aliens come in. And that's the priority. And they put national security aside, leaving us all vulnerable. And our hope for security is that our enemies will be nice to us is a pretty scary place to be. But yeah, I do. We probably are the weakest we can possibly be because we have a lame duck president. And my guess is, President Biden's staff, everyone's probably, looking for their next job. So how many people are really dialed in on this thing? And they said, I saw something, I think it was on Fox website talking about Biden's in the Situation Room, which is so laughable. We saw it last week when he didn't even know which plane to get into. Remember, he walked up and down the wrong stairs. It's like the idea that this guy is somehow in charge and in control. It's just such a joke, and everyone sees that. And, politics aside, it's like our safety and national security should always be treated seriously, and this administration doesn't do it, and they haven't for 3.5 years.
So there's a lot of polling out there this morning. CBS News YouGov poll finds Donald Trump leading in 3 battleground states. According to the poll, he's up 1% in Wisconsin, 50 to 49%, 3 percentage points in Georgia, North Carolina as well, 50% to Harris's 47%. They say the poll has a margin of error, plus or minus 4 percentage points, and apparently they're all tied in Wisconsin. But other polls are saying contradictory things. Let's be honest. I mean, it is really close. How much are you paying attention to these polls, and what do you think is next?
Yeah, I think it's, this thing seems a dead heat. And you look at these betting markets, and they have it, I think, 53 to 47, if you bet on this thing in the UK or something. But it does seem significant that she has gotten a bounce, and albeit she, again, going back to she never has to face any tough press, any scrutiny, doesn't have to actually perform on a serious level. So you picture these people in the middle that, have seen Biden, just seeing how much he's faltered, but don't know much about her, and then have seen glowing press. And, that when, to her credit, when she's at an event, she looks cheerful, energetic, and that's definitely a good contrast with Biden. So I think there is, that's definitely helped her. But I don't think until September, these things probably don't matter that much, although people start voting in September now. So it's like, we're really in the old days of October, if you really think about it. So people are going to be going to the polls next month on this early voting stuff. And, if she's able to dodge debates, which I hope Donald Trump will just debate her over and over and over again, because the more people see of her, the more they will dislike her, and the more they will see how incompetent she is and just totally inept. And I think Donald Trump's negatives are already built in, so people already know, the personal stuff that people don't like about him. That's not going to change. They had 4 years as president. He's been the number one person in the news for the past 8 years. So everyone's opinion of him is relatively, I think, locked in. So I think, I hope he debates her over and over and over again, because people need to see who will be better on the border, who will be better on the economy, who will be better for national security. And I think if you look at those issues, they all favor Trump, but those have to be what's discussed over and over again. And I think, but right now it is concerning because her negatives were quite high before she got in the race, and a lot of them have gone down in some of these favorability, unfavorability polls, which typically mirror how people vote. So, it is concerning, I think, for the Trump campaign that they need to, expose her, and the media is not going to help them. I mean, the media, is giving probably $1 billion in-kind contribution, in essence, by all of the masquerading of, masking all of her deficiencies, which, they did it with Biden. They can certainly do it with her.
Well, let me ask you this. I've got 1 minute left. I'm going to play this audio bite for you real quick. This is a montage of Kamala Harris talking about Joe Biden.
Thank God our president is in good shape, in good health, and is ready to lead in our second term.
Joe Biden is going to be fine. And let me tell you something. I work with Joe Biden every day. The work that under Joe Biden's leadership our administration has accomplished is transformative.
The way that the president's demeanor in that report was characterized could not be more wrong on the facts and clearly politically motivated.
All right, so in 30 seconds, Jonathan, how much should the Republicans focus on the big lie that Joe Biden was fine? specifically about Kamala Harris and holding her accountable for lying to the American people?
I think it should be a secondary thing. I think they should focus on it to expose her lying. I think going after his ineptitude and other things, you only have so much airtime. So I hope they're focusing on the economy, the border, national security, because that's what's going to decide these issues. So obviously it cuts against her credibility, but I think that sometimes it gets, we follow this stuff so carefully, so we're all think this is really important, which I think is really important, but I think the average person wants to know who will make their lives better, and I think that's where the issues come in, and they all cut Trump's way.
Thank you, Jonathan, and have a great rest of week. We'll probably talk to you again soon. 6:54 Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here from my friends at Window Nation. Now, listen, I'm passionate about Window Nation because they put windows in my basement studio, and my kitchen and my bedroom are coming up next. They do fantastic work with incredible customer service. So if you're thinking about upgrading your windows, you owe it to yourself to go to windownation.com and see what they can do for you. Now, right now, they do have an outstanding offer. You buy 2 windows, you're going to get 2 windows free. Plus, you're going to pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years. Plus, you're also going to get another $250 credit. They can install in a day or less, and these windows do come with a lifetime warranty. So get a free, no obligation quote right now. Be sure to mention my name, Dan Mandis, and don't forget that great deal. You're going to buy 2 windows, you're going to get 2 free, plus pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years, and you're going to get another $250 off. 866-90-NATION is the phone number, 866-90-NATION, windownation.com. Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionality, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast.